All right, so with that being said and done, great segue. We're just talking about goals and business plans all morning, so we're going to bring in Mindy Thompson.
Yay.
Mindy, good morning.
Good morning. And I'm not wearing a headset today because mine's not working, but
Because Mike got
the girl's
into
hair's not getting messed up today, so that's good.
All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take off my headset. How about that? Wow, everything's loud.
you got into my room and you changed some of my cables, and now Minnie's headset's broken, Mikey.
I didn't
It's okay.
change cables. I
Well,
took them,
it-
and then I tried to put them back. There's
Correct.
a difference between the two.
You guys, we got important things to discuss right now. Okay, let's get it right into it. One of my favorite things to talk about is business plans. So I'm nerding out like crazy right now. Todd and I were talking about this last week. Thank you, Todd. We had a great conversation about goal setting, business plans, and all of these sorts of things. And this sort of came to our mind is that business plans are like snowflakes. No two should be the same if you're doing it right. Okay, so business plans are all the talk right now, right? We're going to hear them from everywhere, all over our social media feeds. Todd's traveling around to our different offices to talk about it for good reason. We need a plan. If we don't have a business plan, we are aiming at a target with a blindfold on. Okay, and wouldn't we rather aim at a target with full vision? All right, so why do you not want to compare your business plan to anyone else? Well, we all have different circumstances that we have to take into account. Mike needs to make a different amount of money than Todd, than Nick, than myself. Mike has different life circumstances than Nick, than Todd,
Well,
than
my wife
myself.
likes really expensive
Well,
handbags.
yeah, you
so
got to
duh.
make a lot
Duh.
of money. So first of all, while you are attending these talks, when you're going to go listen to Todd, when you're going to sit in this conversation, don't look at the person's paper next to you. Okay? Don't set your goal or your plan based on what they are doing. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Okay? So, if your business plan isn't unique to you, you're not going to follow it. You're not going to care about it. You're not going to achieve any of it. It has to be very specific to you. So that's my first point. I just want to make that really clear.
Well, I would also just say with this is I don't, as a real estate agent, real estate entrepreneur, I don't equate what I do any different from an owner of a new restaurant or an owner of a new tech company. When you're creating a business, you have to have a business plan. And when you're the owner of a brand new tech company, every year or every quarter, according to to Todd Bookspan, readdressing your business plan, it's just that it's the necessary evil, it's the constant. And for us as agents, sometimes we're like, well, we're just salespeople, so we're not running a business, but you are running a business. And for me, it's just no different. You have to have one.
It's been one of the things that surprised me most about coaching is how many real estate agents we have. 3,100 some odd real estate agents. I bet you 90% of them don't have a business plan. What would you say?
Oh man, this is like the price is right. So I'm going to go with 89.9%.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know.
So again, the reciprocal of that is although that's an alerting number, it's really not so much that as it is why don't you have a business plan?
Why don't you?
I would say, and I would answer that. I would say for a lot of people, they don't have business plans, and I know you're going to talk about point number 5, but they're not on a team or they're not with a coach, and they don't have, because sitting down and going, oh man, I think I'm going to go put together a business plan. Don't Google it, okay? Because that's overwhelming, and so that they don't have that person that's kind of helping them develop it.
Do you know that West USA Realty has a coaching division and we do complimentary business planning consultations? Wow. What a great time for our phones to start ringing.
Well, there's Mindy's email right there.
And it's not a sales pitch to join coaching either.
It's not.
Truly to help you.
It truly is. It truly is. Take advantage of that, guys. Email me. I'll set you up with a coach. Sit down. Leave with a business plan, okay? It doesn't cost you anything. My second point is, what's your goal? Another thing that I've learned being a coach for about 10 years now is that not everyone has a clear goal. Goals can be hard to set for some people. Some people are very, very clear cut with their motivation and things like that. a lot of them, and I'll admit I'm one of them. Sometimes it's hard for me to set goals for myself. So if this is you, here's just what I want to encourage you to do. Don't throw out an arbitrary number. Don't say, I want to do 100 deals this year.
It's like Tourette's. You ask an agent, what's your goal? They're just like, 32.
Yeah.
Without any thought, it just comes out of their mouth.
Or else they'll go, I don't know. So it has to mean something to you. And if you're new at this, okay, start out by asking yourself, how much money do you need to make next year? That's a great place for you to start. So list out your expenses, your monthly expenses, okay, all of the bills you have, list those out. List out any additional expenses you might have or you might incur. I really want to take a vacation this year. Things like that. Well, now you have a good baseline number, okay? All of us want over and above that number. Maybe you want to invest in a rental property this year. Maybe you want to always have a certain amount of money in your savings account. That's a great idea. So how much over and above that necessity number is it that you need? Okay. If you're a veteran agent and you've been at this a while, how many closings did you have this year? So if you had 20 this year, you're not going to say your goal for next year is 50. All right. What is a prudent number for the amount of deals that you can have this year? The last one I'm going to say is, and I'm not a big fan of what's your why. I'm just not that kind of person. Yeah, I'm just not that kind of person. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm not a big, warm and fuzzy. What's your why? Why do you need to make that much money though? So let's say your monthly budget's, let's say it's $5,000, okay? And your goal is to make 15,000 a month. Well, why? What are you going to do with that? So kind of reverse engineer it and spend it for me. That's what I'll have you do. I'll have you spend that amount of money so that now it is actually attached to something.
Yeah, I would also, one of the things that we always talk about on our team is if you really need motivation and you're a brand new agent, go buy a really expensive sports car or a boat. You'll get motivated. But for me, when we do goal setting, I set 3 goals. I set what I think is my achievable, very realistic goal, and then this is my goal. Okay. Then I've got my bare minimum. Like if I don't hit that bare minimum, it's problems, right? That tells me I am doing something wrong and I need to go back and check the system. And then I have my lofty goal. Like, okay, I'm going to really shoot for the moon here. And so I kind of work within those 3 parameters. And then also with my goals is because, I know, and this is probably so counterintuitive to what you think, Mindy, but I believe that real estate activities lead to closings. And so most of my goals are really focused on activities, going back to my 3-pack. How many real estate conversations do I want to have today? How many housewarming parties do I want to throw in 2023? Because I know where my deals come from. And so I really focus more on those goals than I do the overreaching goal, because all of those activities I know are going to get me there.
So that's a good point, Mindy, because the fact is you and I obviously deal with this. We've been doing it for 20 years or so. The thing here, Mike and Nick, is that the business plan never, ever, ever, not once has a business plan made an agent successful, made anybody in the world successful. The business plan is what's called a gauge. It's what you use to see whether you're on target or not. What you do every single day is called an action plan. And the action plan is what that's what makes people, and that, Mike, that's exactly what you just talked about.
All righty. So, well,
here we go.
We kind of just segued already into this.
We did.
Before we jump in, hold on really quick. I'm going to just challenge everybody on the call still. We've got a lot of people that are still on. We haven't dropped off. This is usually when people start to tune out of our webinars. I love you all to death, but you do. You're going to learn something today that you probably don't know. If you already have a business plan, if you think you've already got this set up and you're thinking, I'm going to tap out, just hang out. What Mindy's going to bring to the table is going to be good information, so just stay on with us.
And you don't have to be on next week because there won't be one.
Correct.
Hey, how about just stay on just because I'm a cool gal.
You're not wearing your headset and people are really mad about that.
I'm fun to listen to. Okay.
Well, her hair looks really good. So we got that.
It did. Okay. So what goes into your business plan? First of all, My email's right up here. You guys have been doing a really good job of reaching out to me for this stuff. I have the most simple business plan template that you could ever want or need. Email me. I'll give it to you. I'll just send it back to you. It's free. Todd's got a more complicated business plan.
There's a shocker.
If you're analytical, you are going to eat this up. So first of all, I want you to know I have this, but what goes into your business plans? Let's start out with how much you did this year. Okay, how much money did you make? How many homes did you sell? It always surprises me. I'll ask a realtor walking the hallway, how many homes have you sold this year? And they'll go, they don't know. How much money did you make this year? You need to know that. Quantify it. How many were buyers versus sellers? Okay, you're going to need to start there. How much money do you want to make in 2022?
3.
Okay, divide that number by your average commission. So I'm going to ask you, Todd, what's our average commission check right now?
I don't track that. Ironically,
I'd say it's around what, 12 grand, 15?
I would say if your average sale price was $350,000, which is basically boils down to, it's probably somewhere in the $11,000-$12,000 range. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to sell, you want to make 100 grand this year. Well, now I know I need to sell about 10 houses. Okay, now you're going to want to take taxes into account and things like that. Now you know how many deals you need. So what an easy way to determine that? Well, now we work backward from there. So I'm going to divide the number of deals I need, let's say 10, by 12 months. I know I need about a deal a month. Okay. That number is easier to look at, kind of to Mike's point, than the bigger number. I need to sell 10 houses. Oh my gosh, where are those going to come from? Well, one a month. Well, okay. Now that seems a little bit easier to wrap my head around. So we're going to go ahead and do that. What do I need to do, Mike, on a daily basis to sell one home?
Well, I think one of the components missing from there is you also, if you're going to look back on previous years, you also have to determine where your deals came from, like what lead sources, because sometimes that's a shocker. I had one, I've told the story, but I did a class on cause marketing. And I'm like, I really don't. I get tired of some of these same old classes. I'm like, I really don't want to do this. And then I started doing the math on the way over to teaching the class, and I'm like, that year I had closed 12 deals through my cause marketing efforts. Didn't even realize it. So shame on me. So then I had to go back and reassess my business plan and go, okay, I got to put some more energy into it because it's obviously generating deals for me. Totally.
Exactly. And you're going to want to ask yourself, like, do you have a buyer heavy business? Do I mostly work with buyers? Do I want to continue that in the new year? If so, you'll do things like open houses and stuff like that. If you want to start dealing with more sellers and taking more listings, well, there is prospecting. Sorry, I said the P word. Don't get off the webinar just because I said that. But do I need to prospect to expired listings, to for sale by owners, to listing heavy prospects? So these are things you'll want to take into account. The last thing, and probably where I'll spend most of my time here today, is good, bad, or indifferent. The reality is your schedule will determine if you hit your goal. Okay, your daily routines and habits will determine if you hit your goal. So that is part of your business plan. Your ideal work day and work week is a part of the plan. What time will you start working each day? What days during the week will you work? I don't like a realtor to say 7 days a week. 24/7, I'm always working. But that's silly. You're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to have planned days you're working, and you need to have planned days off. I have a client who will do 150 deals this year by the end of the year. She does not work weekends. She does not work Saturday, Sunday, but her weekdays are so meticulous that she does not need to. Okay. So determine those days and stick to it. What times of the day will I set aside to do the P word, to prospect? What times of the day will I dedicate to having real estate conversations with people? Okay. And how many does that need to be? So maybe your number's 5, and I'm going to get into how many that needs to be for you. A really simple way to determine how many people you need to talk to a day. I'm going to dumb it down real good for you. Let's say you want to do that 10 deals this year. Okay. How many are going to come to you? How many times this year is your phone going to ring? Mike, will you come list me? All right, let's say 4. Great. So 10 minus 4, now I got 6. I have to talk to 6 people a day. That's a really, really basic way of knowing how many people you need to talk to. Now, I have clients that want to do 50 deals this year, and only 20 are going to come to them. Well, guess what? That's 30 real estate conversations they're having a day.
Let me just interject a second, because if you take and you look at the economic spreadsheet and the business plan, if you want to make $124,000 at an average sale price of $350,000 at a typical compensation, you're really only looking for about 2 sellers a month that you're looking for. So now it just boils down to Mindy's earlier point. How many conversations have I had to have in the past with people to ultimately end up with 2 or 3 appointments? And then did I list every single property that I went out to, or did I close 80% of them? So it's something you have to take into consideration. So when she's saying 6, 8, 10, 12 people a day, sometimes depending upon your business plan, it might only be 2 to 5 people a day. So just keep in mind that you need to have your own personal business plan done just for you, and reach out to us.
Yeah, everyone has a magic number. I need to have so many conversations before I hit appointment. Mine's 18. That's how many people I need to talk to get an appointment. Everyone has their own. If you don't know that number, you really should. And we can help you with that for sure. How do I know my plan is working? Well, like we know that anything's working. We
Your
measure
checkbook.
it.
You just go to take a look at your checkbook. I log on to coamerica.com. I know if it's working or not.
That's one way.
That's whether your wife tells you to get a
Yeah.
job or not.
You need to be measuring it. You need to be measuring it. I would do it monthly, but especially quarterly. Okay, so we're going into this new year. I want to sell 10 homes. If I am at March and I am at 1, I either need to adjust my goal down from 10. That's okay if that's what you want to do. Or I need to change my habits. Maybe I need to hold that extra open house a month. Maybe I need to teach 1 more class a month, Mike. Maybe I need to talk to 2 more people a day. That's a good time. That way you're not getting halfway, 3/4 into the year going, oh man, I blew it. Similarly, if you're at March and you got 4 closings, I'm going to have you up that goal. I'm going to have you up that goal and keep doing what you're doing because you're doing something right. So it has to be something that you're keeping
And
an eye
maybe
on.
something's got to go. I feel like I have, when I look back in my career, I feel like I've had some really good ideas that I sometimes look back and I still scratch my head and go, how in the heck did they not work? Because they seem so good in my head. But for whatever reason, that marketing strategy or that lead source just didn't quite work. So at some point, it's, I think, especially if you're going to launch a new lead source and you're going to invest some money, you have to know when you're going to pull the ripcord on that. I've held on to things sometimes for way too long and invested a lot more money than I should have because it just didn't work.
Absolutely. You have to be monitoring it. And something that you can do, and a business plans, you can't just have a business plan and keep it on your desk and never look at it, right? You have to, it's a working document that you have to be reviewing and reassessing all of the time. What's working, what's not? This lead source is really popping. What do I need to do more of or less of? You have to be reviewing it. So my recommendation is at the end of each month, and especially at the end of each quarter, to really take inventory.
All right, I'm just going to unload. Pet peeve time. All right. Vision boards are not a business plan.
No. Right. No.
Okay. They're just not.
There's nothing bad about them, but they're not a business plan.
Well, I don't know. If I've got 2 hours to go to a vision board event, there's 2 hours I could be on the phone prospecting. That's kind of how.
Mike.
Yeah, but you figured out your secret sauce that makes your
what I'm saying is, it's not a business plan. It's great.
They're
great.
2 different things.
But you can't go the easy route. You still got to put time into the vision board. And 2, and I may be, might get ridiculed for this, but it wouldn't be the first time. I'm not a get in the car and listen to podcast guy. Oh. Okay, I get into that car. If you're looking for people to talk to, open up your phone and just start scrolling up the contacts. You'll come across tons of people that you haven't reached out to. The car is at least for me, my time to make calls and have these real estate conversations with people.
Watch this. You got your CRM. You know whose birthdays this week. You know whose home anniversaries this week. It doesn't. That's what I have my clients do in the car. So they got their list printed out. Right, Monday. I got everything I need to do this week. Or people on my car. I'm wishing people happy birthday. I'm going, hey, you've been in your house 2 years. Congratulations. You don't need to be in front of your desk to have these conversations with people. But yeah, spend your car time doing that.
All right, let's the A word. I think we all.
Second bad word I'm going to say. I already said prospect, so screw it. The A word, accountability. Okay, so
There's no more of that in the world.
we don't realtors hate these words. They're worse than cussing on this webinar.
I will say this about accountability. I benefit by having a business partner. I do more business and I am more successful because I have accountability in my business. I can't, as much as I would like to this afternoon, maybe go play golf and go slack off or whatever the case is. I can't because I have someone I'm accountable to.
I wouldn't want to upset Gertis.
No.
So the accountability word, print your business plan out. Okay. So we talked about writing your business plan, what goes in it. You're going to email me. I'm going to send it to you. You're going to fill it out. Print it out. Print out 3 copies minimum. Okay. 1 will go on your desk or wherever it is that you work each day. Okay. You want to have it out. You want to physically have it where you see it every day. So whether it's on your bulletin board right in front of you, out on your desk, it has to be someplace where you visualize it on a daily basis. The second copy will go to your coach, to your team leader, to your office manager, to a friend. Maybe you have a realtor that you two can get together and go, hey, can I have your plan? Can you have mine? Can we maybe look at this once a quarter together? Once again, that little bit of added accountability. And if you really want to go all out, print out a 3rd copy and give it to your wife, your husband, your partner, your child. Talk about someone who will hold you accountable and check on your goals.
Don't think accountability is like talking to the policeman. You know, I mean, it's really not. What it's designed for is it's something that you want to do because you're seeing so many things flash by in front of your face on a daily basis that the last thing you're thinking about is, okay, I called 10 people. Did I get 2 appointments out of those 10 people? No, I didn't. I only got 1. And so you end up helping each other. And that's really what this is all about. It's not about, the word accountability, Mindy, you're right. It's kind of it is always associated with a bad thing happening, like the word manipulation, and in reality, all this is giving somebody, you're saying to someone, I care about your business and I'm asking you to help me care about mine.
I wrote that down like 3 points ago because one of the things I don't go as far as give my wife my business plan or I don't get her business plan, but we spend a great deal of time talking about goals. She knows what my goals are for every year, where I'm at with goals. I know what her goals are. And so there is that level of accountability because then she'll know when I'm not hitting my goals.
Honestly, I think that this might be one of the most important things that we touched on today. You can have a business plan and leave it in a drawer and never touch it again. You can have ideas and goals and never look at them again. Giving someone the ability to keep you accountable for what your goals are just changes the complete conversation. You're not hoping and guessing, and it's everything. It's accountability for your business, for your life, for your lifestyle. If you're going to go for a run, if no one knows you're going for a run, well, I'm just going to go back to bed. No one's the wiser. If someone is looking for that update workout that you're going to go for that run, you're going to do it. If someone knows you're supposed to make 10 calls today, you're going to be more apt to do it and have less excuses. So this is what I would very much push for anybody who wants to see their production move next year is get an accountability partner, figure out how to keep yourself accountable by working with somebody.
Well, if I going running, I've got to let multiple people know because there's a chance I might not be coming back.
I'll be behind you in the car, buddy. I got you.
Well, and to this whole point, the business plan is important. It is a quarterly typical review. Your action plan is typically a bi-monthly monthly review. You look at it a couple of times because, it can change. It's like somebody said, Mindy, years ago, if you miss your first week statistics, your end of year numbers are already off. So in essence, if I say I'm going to call 10 people, I'm hoping to get 2 appointments this week. I call 10 people, I get 1 appointment. If I don't now call more people, to get that average to 2, I'm not going to hit my annual goals. And guess when I know that? The end of the first week in January.
Absolutely. You guys, accountability is uncomfortable. Let's face it. I'm held accountable, what, twice a week?
Yeah.
Todd holds me accountable every Friday. It's uncomfortable, but hey, it works. And here's the thing, I just want to kind of end with a little bit of tough love because I love all of you. But hey, I'm a coach and this is my job. If your goals are important to you, and if they really, really mean something to you, you're going to prove it. You're going to prove it by having some accountability put in. And you're going to prove that it's not by not doing that. So the choice is yours, and either one's okay. They don't affect me either way. But if your goals and if your business plan is important to you, you will show us by putting in some level of accountability, whatever that is for you. You're going to do that.
All right. So if you have a business plan, and a lot of this is review, good for you. If you do not have a business plan, um, and you in this time next year or this time next month we talk to you and you still don't have a business plan, don't be confused as to why you might not be making the money that you want. So we've given you some great opportunities. I mentioned earlier, Todd's got a business planning class tomorrow at the Mesa office. But at the very least, we've got Mindy's email address up here. Just email her, ask her about the business plan she can send you. I would also just have a conversation with her about getting together with a coach. If you get together with a coach and have a free business plan, you're not signing up for coaching. No. You're not obligated to do anything. So jump on at it and jump on those opportunities. Mindy, thank you. Great information as
Thanks.
always. And who did your hair? It looks wonderful.
West USA is really passionate this year, and it's one of Todd's biggest goals for this year to increase our per agent productivity. Let us help you guys. Like that's what we're here for. It's why you're part of this wonderful brokerage, is because we do things like this for you. Okay.
All right, as a reminder, this is it. This is our last webinar of 2022. We won't be back until Monday, January 9th, where we have our President and CEO, Clint Faust, is going to stop by and do his annual State of the Brokerage address and leave you with the quote of the day. Well done is better than well said.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. All right, we'll get rid of the ring there. All right, appreciate everybody joining us today. Go out and sell a home.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.